大合体。勇者 X カイザー最強のロボキング X カイザー。勇者 X カイザー。新幹線がブルーレイカーとグリーンレイカーに。これが驚異の左右合体だ。ウルトラレイカー登場。ゴッドマックスもすごいぞ。勇者 X カイザーマックスチーム登場。スカイマックス、ダッシュマックス、ドリルマックス、迫力の3体合体。戦えゴッドマックス。ウルトラレイカーもすごいぞ。勇者 X カイザー。ドラゴンカイザー登場。キング X カイザーと超巨大合体グレート X カイザー。フルパワーで攻撃だ。超巨大合体グレート X カイザー。三段変形ダイノガイストもすごいぞ。
緊急指令ギャレオンガイガーに変形だ。行くぞファイナルフュージョン承認。ドリルガオライナーガオステルスガオ合体だ。見ろディバイディングドライバー。超人合体ガオガイガー。行くぞ。今ならこのディバイディングドライバーがついてるぞ。
街の平和は任せろ。左右合体潮流人。
ボルフォックガンドーベルガングルー合体せよ。手を上げろ音を出せ。激音合体ビッグボルフォック。キャンペーン実施中。ハローミーはマイク・サウンダス13歳。レッツゴーマイク。オッケーシステムチェンジ。サウンドスタート。一緒に戦おう。サウンドロボマイク&バリバリ
見ろ超巨大ロボキングジェイダー。宇宙戦艦 J アグリ変形だ。宇宙に敵なし超ド級合体キングジェイダー。
よみがえる熱血伝説マグナティラノからマグナザウラーへ。そしてマグナバスターザウラージェットゴーザウラーと合体。トミー熱血武装マグナザウラー。復活最強の戦士。恐竜ロボからジェットへ。そしてグランザウラーへ熱血進化。ゴーザウラーマグナザウラーグランザウラー。3つの熱血が時空を超え今一つに。トミー超熱血合体キングゴーザウラー。
発進。鳳凰獣王剣王雷神王に無敵合体。邪悪帝国から地球を守るのだ。無敵合体雷神王。トミーから雷神ソードもよろしく。伝説は今始まる。ドラゴンからロボへ。無敵変形爆竜王雷神王と超無敵合体。完成ゴッド雷神王。限界を超えた超無敵ロボトミー
ラリオス、ガンパー、アトラウス登場。21世紀のメカミライオン、巨大ロボに完全合体。今衝撃の合体革命、クロスイン。未来ロボダルタニアス完成。未来合体デラックス超合金ダルタニアス、ポピーより発売中。
今こそ復活、5体の守護獣たち、見よこの勇姿。シーゾー。守護獣たちの進化は続く。いでよドラゴンシーゾー。究極を極めた進め重騎士。
小さな体に力を秘めた強い重い精密なメカ、これが噂の超合金。マジンガー Z ポピーより新発売。
ゲッターロボ G ドラゴン、ライガー、ポセイドン。戦闘準備完了。人類の敵百鬼帝国を攻撃せよ。ライガーミサイル、トマホーク、ブーメラン、ストロングミサイル。ジャンボマシンダーゲッターロボ G ドラゴン、ライガー、ポセイドン、ポピーより新発売。
チェンジゲッターゴー。あの迫力を君の手に。デラックスゲッターロボ GO 豊かより。ゲッター GO 合体。チェンジゲッター興奮と迫力を君の手に。戦え僕らのヒーロー。デラックスゲッターロボ GO、 そしてゲッターショーゲッターガイ豊かより。
ダンボスコンビネーション、ダンボスゴー、ダンボスゴー、ダンボスゴー、チェンジ。
宇宙の侵略者を迎え撃つためにコンビネーションロボザンボット3、ここに誕生。3つのメカが1つになってザンボット3。
エスフォロー、アンパンチ、ミサイル。
ザンボット3コンビネーションジュニアクローバーから発売中。
今日も戦い続けるザンボット3、今クローバーから。
宇宙要塞ソロモンからテキサス、そして光る空へ。恐怖のモビルアーマービッグザム、赤い彗星シャア専用ザク。ニュータイプの運命は RX78 ガンダム無敵のメカニズム。パーフェクトコレクション機動戦士ガンダムバンダイのプラモデル。 獅子、赤獅子、そして3代の獅子たちよ。今眠りから覚める5代の未来獣、ロボットメカの限界に挑戦。全く新しい奇跡の超合体システム、ついに完成。未来獣合体オライオン、未来に挑戦するポピーより絶賛発売中。
Reactor engaged. Traction locked. All go.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well today. And I hope you all are enjoying your weekend so far. So, we saw Olivia earlier talk about housekeeping, obviously what we're going to do first. But real quick, thank you, let's see here, Blue Tashi Phantom for the $6. Hello, Lion Man. Thanks for providing background noise while I draw the spicy furries that pay my rent, Lamau. All right, then. Good luck with crashing out over Brit. Well, I don't need to crash out over her. Hopefully those furries don't have animal genitalia. And speaking of animal genitalia, you all should go take a look at Gilded Pooh, a.k.a. Vlad's newest video about Undead City, where he lays out the fact that Undead's a freak who's also, well, likely a kid toucher. Because of course they all are. Of course they all are. So, the question that must be asked is, why am I talking about this person? Why this individual specifically? And I'm going to be happy to give you that answer. Also, yes, Monstrous 3, because I'm doing what everybody else did and I wanted to see if it worked. Don't think it did, so you don't have to worry about me doing that again. But anyways, back to the main point. Thought Bubble Brittany, a.k.a. Brittany Johnson, something they've been put their name out there a long time ago, a.k.a. Galaxy Brain Brit, all of which are horrifically inaccurate to who she is as a person, is somebody who has been in the anti-Lily sphere for over a decade now. Now, I want to make this very clear, like I did in the pinned comment before the stream started, because there's no shortage of dishonest louts who are big mad at me and want to lie about me, and we're going to see some of that here. I do not sweep for or care for Lily Orchard. I think if Lily Orchard turned herself into a statistic today, the world would be a better place. Unlike the people who say they're constantly against her, who when she wanders into the wilderness in the dead of winter in Canada, they rush to get her support, even though she's a pedophile. Now, I was tempted at the very beginning of the thumbnail process to put the victim part of Lily Orchard's most self-important victim in quotations. Well, why is that? Well, what horrific thing did Lily do to this person? Because we all know who Lily is. Lily likes to write child porn fictions. Lily allegedly raped her sister. What did Lily do to this person? Lily catfished her. It's already linked in the description hidden. Lily catfished Brit over a decade ago. And instead of healing and moving on with her life, Thought Bubble Brittany has been posting about Lily every day on Tumblr, sometimes multiple times a day, for over a decade now. Positioning herself as the foremost victim, the biggest victim, and causing other distress towards people who have actually been harmed in a more serious manner, because Brittany doesn't know how to take it when somebody dicks with them. And happy birthday to you, Stormy River Run. Didn't know it was your birthday, but glad to see that you made it. Now, I had an interesting interaction with Brittany about, 4 years ago, actually. 4 years ago, let's see here. Let's see how long it is. 4 years ago, almost to the month. To the day, actually. 4 years ago, almost to the day. So, in May of 2022, Brittany joined Senate. Thank you, Goosebumps, $2. This is another D-Dobby situation. Something like that. Joined Senate with Luna Corva, who is in the orbit, I think, still of, what's his name? Josh Scorcher. and came to me saying they had a pedophile for me to bust. Thank you, B from A for $5. Makes the former Senate member Echo did the same about buttons look normal. Yes, yes. Anywho, they had a pedophile for me to bust, and I knew immediately it was going to be Lily. So we hopped in call, and they had speculation. They did not have evidence. They had Lily made a bad fan fiction. What if she groomed somebody? And I don't know about you guys, but even back when I was doing predator hunting, I don't work off of ifs. I work off of did. I worked off of things that had victims, not things that make somebody a freak or a weirdo. Now, will I make fun of those people? Yes. Will I bully them? Absolutely. But what Brittany wanted me to do was make a video on this. So what I did instead was I told her, hey, Opal, who was in our circle at the time, was making a Lily video that was going to tie her directly and unquestionably to Stockholm, which she wound up putting out later on. And whatever you have here that you believe is, against the law, we'll try to help you find a way to file it with the Canadian authorities. I didn't know it was your birthday. Happy birthday belated to you, Tributor Cat. Anywho. Now, since then, Brittany has been very ultra mega butt mad that I did not just do their work for them. That I did not immediately fire up a video and call Lily a pedophile, or not even pedophile. She wanted me to call her a predator. I call her a pedophile. I have no problem with that. Calling her a predator without any actual victims or evidence. And has instead loved to run around and lie about what has happened. Because she didn't expect that I had the call recorded. Now, the call's been played on a couple of streams already. Beckett's, where they took some really goofy stances on things about what I should and shouldn't have done, which is really dumb. But then, of course, Malcolm played it, and, of course, completely ignored reality that was being done in that call. So I'm going to show you, real quick, what it was that old Brittany said about me. That but the horrible take I had that I'm apparently a swapper. I'm a swepper. So we're going to go into reading. What will you do if Lio finds out about the stuff you're recently getting flack for? I do not give a solitary fraction of an F what Lio or anyone in his circle of masking, self-righteous, disgusting POSs think. They've said and done and defended far worse than I ever have. We're going to find out in the doc if that's true. The answer's no. Lio was the one who leaked those sections of the chat after reassuring me and went on to defend Lily Orchard while telling people we shouldn't be calling her a groomer because at the time she had no known victims. That's why you shouldn't. Sorry, words have meaning. He could take that Bible he performatively thumps and shove it up his butt. Brittany is unhinged because I'm just going to be real mean for just a second, chat. Lily Orchard owns Brittany. Mind, body, and soul at this point. She can't let it go. She can't move on. And anybody who tells her she needs to, she just rejects reality about anything concerning it. Brittany will forever be obsessed with Lily. She will never live a real life. Now, here's what we're going to do, since somebody wanted to lie on my name. I have the call pulled up. Let's see what I say about Lily. That's just so sweepy. You guys can tell me in chat if it's sweepy. Just in general, you could be. Not saying you are.
Oh, no, I'm not taking that as an accusation. Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
This is a completely different case than the stuff I've worked on because we're talking about hypotheticals. Actually, I'm going to back it up a little bit because it got to a very interesting point here. Give me a second here. Here we go. Yeah, that's just in case, again, because unfortunately Jazz has proven to be a liar about a lot of stuff. The thing is, if you had solid evidence that Lily grooms people, has actually gone after minors, now we can do the nebulous, well, she could be a danger to them. Anybody in this room currently could be a danger to minors, including you two. Just in general, you could be. Not saying you are.
Oh, no, I'm not taking that as an accusation. Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
This is a completely different case than the stuff I've worked on because we're talking about hypotheticals at this point. Is Lily sick? Yeah. Is Lily depraved? Yeah. Is Lily a dickhead? Well, I mean, obviously. But I can't go out there, especially if I'm still dealing with predator hunting, and stick my name on something like this when I do not have definitive proof. Because when you are doing pedophile busting, you have to keep your name clean. You can't be involved with false accusations, which is why we had to let Anthony go from it. You can't be involved with that type of nonsense, because then people stop coming to you about these things. People stop trusting you about these things because, well, there's a guy who just tirades on people because of art they like. Because as much as I find lolicon, zoophile porn and all that abhorrent, immoral, matter of fact, I'll be more blunt, demonic, a lot of other people just look at it and think, well, it's just a drawing, bro. What's the problem? As stupid as that is how reality people see these things. And you need to be aware of that. I get you don't like Lily. Nobody here does. But you're going to need to bring me something solid. You're going to have to bring me evidence of an actual child being attacked or somebody before the age of 18 being groomed. Otherwise, I can't really do anything about it.
Okay. I do have some questions about what you have said.
All right.
And I do...
Now, chat, you tell me. Did that sound like sweeping to you? Thank you, Agamonti1, for the $5. Why do all Lily detractors end up being horrible people? We'll get into that lately. We'll get into that later. So, again, did that sound in any way, shape, or form like me sweeping for Lily? Or was that, if you don't have anything, what am I supposed to work off of? Maybes? Possiblies? It's ridiculous. But that was Luna Corva in the same call I was within with Brittany, when they were trying to get me to go after Lily, calling Lily a predator with no evidence. Now, that's not the only thing we're going to cover in terms of this. Obviously, we have the doc to get to, but there's something else that popped up. Now, it's important to note that whenever I am dealing with a lunatic, the first thing the lunatic and their sycophants always try to do is guilt by association. So we're going to look at that from Brittany's blog itself, and we'll see if it dies in real time. It'd be really funny if it did. But let's see here. This is Brit's Galaxy Brain. Remember, she got a big brain, guys. Re-blogging Phoenix Foxhound. Now, I don't know anything about this person. All I know is that they're a Brittany sweeper, and that I'm pretty sure they'd probably look the other way if Brittany touched kids. And I'm also going to get into another accusation here shortly that we saw in the Tumblr post we went over a moment ago. I saw that Finnick made a new version of his Google Doc, which, already for what is supposed to be a carefully crafted call-out document, that he swore he took the time to work hard on full of what's supposed to be crucial information. The number of edits alone he had to make it in such a short time should make everyone suspicious. Oh no! It took a while. The end of the world. I could go on about how he never really removed the things he said he would, more so just left them behind in other sections. Because of course he wants to say those blatant accusations he knows are false despite being corrected on them. But he knows well enough that putting them in the main document makes him look bad. That's why the only post of Phoenix has decided to actually delete is the one where he's trying to congratulate himself for posting blatant lies. But what's important is why this new specific version exists. Finnick Doc 2, Brit Radio Edition. The reason why it's specifically the Radio Edition version of the document is because he changed the one to specifically give to LioConvoy and the rest of the ACC. My name is one word. Finnick admits to doing so proudly. This one is for Lio, actually. Now, I don't recall asking Finnick specifically for one, but here we are. So imagine you're Finnick, or at least the version of himself he wants to pretend he is. You have so much totally real evidence, and you need to get it out there to stop this totally real mean lady predator Brit from hurting people. What do? You can send everything you know to the authorities, which, Finnick, if you have Brittany's information, I really hope you did that. Ahem. And go through the links to fill out official reports of the appropriate states. You can inform the people on Tumblr. Yeah, Tumblr, that's the best way to get information out. And keep an archival blog. Become an obsessive stalker like the rest of us. Of course, doing both of these things is difficult. Yeah, because your life's so difficult. But doing your research on what YouTuber talk to is not. And it's not like LioConvoy is someone people would be unfamiliar with. LioConvoy is someone you would only go to if you yourself are a sketchy individual and wants his protection. You mean like Brittany tried? You mean like Brittany tried? Okay, buddy. Which is an awful place to get that, since the group harbors awful people to later then cannibalize them, so... Is this person living in a different reality than everybody else? Good luck with that, Finnick. But back to the subject. LioConvoy is very, very infamous for not only being an incredibly ineffective and overall terrible predator hunter and YouTuber to go to for something like this. None of you have a clue of what's actually happened. You listen to other YouTubers and you get your opinions from them, not on the facts. And both these videos cited have so much wrong with them. Like, I don't even know where I'd begin if I was to just take them apart. They're either filled with bias or stupidity or both. But anyways. LioConvoy, terrible, is not only being incredibly effective and terrible, blah, 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 but for actively putting minors and victims in harm. Citation needed. Evidence required. Where did I do that? Oh wait, I didn't. Either to his own hands or introducing them to users guilty of far worse. Did I know what they had done? Because if not, that's not much of a point. Because again, the person this individual white knight for, go away. The person this person constantly goes to bat for and white knights for is a lunatic who has been around Lily Orchard, who has done far worse than, well, a lot of people I've been around. I highly recommend these two videos for those uninformed about LioConvoy. I recommend you get a job. Dean Draxon for $5. These people go out of their way to make their lives difficult and then cry when nobody feels bad for them. Yes, yes they do. As of right now, Finnick has no real defense for working with someone like Lio. When confronted about this by other users, Finnick's first response was to accuse them of anti-Semitism and to just say, take it up with Lio. Well, if they have a problem with what I'm doing, they should take it up with me. Also, what's this working with? They posted my server and made a doc. I didn't help them make the doc. I didn't do any research for them. This is absolute lunacy. Which is weird when the issue is he's working with well-known anti-Semitic predators that have harmed more minors than they have helped. Oh, so now I'm a predator. Foxhound Finnick, drink bleach. So let's see what this thing says. Now, Werewolf Hours is a name I recognize because they are in every single chat that talks about Lily or talks about Brittany or talks about Sai. They are a consistent, sweeping white knight. So I will say this to Werewolf Hours. Whenever you can find your testicles, hop on stream. I'd love to talk to you about 900 things that you've made accusations of you've had no evidence for. I would love to bully you in live. Now, on the off chance you're right, you can embarrass me publicly. Come on, big guy, it's your time to shine. We all know how much people like you like attention. Anywho, Finnick, you're willing to stand by anti-Semitism? I mean, no surprise when it comes to Hidden. Ah yes, Hidden. Well-known anti-Semite. Finnick, anti-Semitism doesn't have a hyphen since you want to try so hard to educate a Jew about it. Oopsie! Autocorrect. Does autocorrect correct things in the negative? Metalman87 for $2. This LioConvoy guy sounds awful. I mean, he is. I'm not trying to educate you. I'm just asking since you've had such a hard stance against it in the past, as you should. But you're teaming up with the guy who called all Muslims pedophiles. I have never once ever said all Muslims are pedophiles. If I had, it'd be really weird for me to have Muslim friends, much less one of them on my staff. Now, what is this deranged worm, like brain with worms ridden head nonsense going on about? Well, there was a stream I did with Slug last year against an individual named Rifleman J. Rifleman J having the big intelligent take of, guys, we should forgive the pedophiles. And when I told him, nobody agrees with him. He said, well, my viewers do. I said, where are your viewers from? Southeast Asia and the Middle East. I said, gee, I wonder why Southeast Asia, which has a problem with lolicon, would have no issue with this, or the Middle East, where there are no shortage of individuals who use their theology as an excuse, keyword excuse, to prey on children, would have no issue with this. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not me attacking the entire Islamic faith. It is no different than me making fun of and pointing out all the grifting, quote-unquote, Christians who use verses in the Bible that refer to slavery, whether it's a correct translation or not, to justify it, or to people who are obsessed with Trump while saying they claimed for Christ. It is no different than that comparison. Saying that I am saying that about all Muslims is flatly incorrect, and you are a liar. Thank you, B from F for the $2. Man, I hate LioConvoy, 2 words on purpose. Yes, yes, indeed. Portrayed himself as the prophet Moses and a Jewish woman as the Pharaoh. Brother, we could get into a lot of theological talks about that, and you aren't ready for it. But more importantly, how How many people right now are currently comparing the nation state of Israel to Nazi Germany? But I'm the anti-Semite. Like, comparisons exist for a reason, and sometimes extreme ones have to be made in order to get the point across. I'm sorry, but sometimes the only way you're going to get across to somebody is if you do offend them. It is not hatred of people from the Middle East inherently. That is stupid. You do not touch grass. You do not live in the real world. Not to mention, teamed up with a woman who is dating a Christo-fascist? It seems weird. So what, we're 3 degrees of separation here? Fantastic. So you decided that I need to be held responsible for other non-Jews' behavior? Because if you have an issue with Lio, I highly recommend DMing him about it. He never will, because Werewolf Hours is a quivering pussy. Angie Angel for $2. Walnuts have more wrinkle than this crowd's brain? I imagine you mean clown. But yes. No, I'm asking why are you comfortable associating with a guy like that? And not even in private, but public. Why are you okay associating with women who have no problem showing children pornography, Werewolf Hours? Why are you okay with associating with another woman who talked about essentially how age doesn't matter to them, which is going to be fun because we're going to get into that in this. My comfort levels are actually none of your business, and it's really weird to come at me about this. Tell Lio how you feel. Might get you somewhere. I'll do that, but I just want to be clear. You're okay with Lio, hey, Werewolf Hours. You will never, ever, ever show up because you are a coward. You are a quivering coward. You hide in the walls of other people's streams, hoping they'll defend the woman who's never going to sleep with you. Again, this feels like you're doing a guilt by association. Just call me a capo. You clearly want to. Really effed up to assume that. I'm just asking to see if you have all the facts about him, because you do. But you said you made the doc for Lio, and that's enough, since you can't say a simple yes or no. In Werewolf Hours, do you defend people who share pornography to children? Simple yes or no is good. Section 1, bigotry. Anti-Semitism. I would like to say that there's no screenshot rule active in the old server, that there were no screenshots of this interaction. Take it with a grain of salt. This is Hidden Stream, which you should all go look at. Hidden is Twitter. Her husband's Twitter. Now let's take a look at some of the things her husband's retweeted, since apparently this is my business. Americans, instead of moving, get them out. Attention New Yorkers, if everyone moves to a different city, they will just conquer land after land, and we find ourselves nowhere left to go. Instead, we must stand our ground. Now, I don't really know what this is all about. It sounds kind of goofy. I hate to tell you this, but there's not like a concerted intentional effort. Sometimes people just move to places. And whoever moves in is going to want to make it more culturally comfortable for them, regardless of who they are. Lacy Pink landmines for $2. These two reek of White Saber Complex, because they do. Well, I don't know if Fennec does, but I do know that Brittany does, and so does Werewolf Hours. Now, depending on what that cultural value is, should be whether or not it should be accepted. Breaking. Today I'm announcing my very first act as U.S. Senator is to ban Islam. Good luck with that. That's actually really dumb. That genuinely breaks constitutional values. We will designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization and round them up for immediate deportation. No, you're not. No more H-1B. This is all LARP. Like, this is all nonsense. This person doesn't know or talk about anything important. So I see this as very goofy. Not exactly the smartest move in the world. These are obviously grifters. Okay, so now we have theological argumentation. Someone is putting this up all over America. May Allah bless them for spreading the truth. Abraham worshipped this way. Moses worshipped this way. Jesus worshipped this way. And Muslims worship. Okay. I don't know the rest of the sign, but so far it's not incorrect. Abraham drank wine. Moses allowed people to drink wine. Jesus drank wine, turned water into wine, commanded his followers to drink wine. Muhammad called wine Satan's handiwork. I'd need more context than just a random quote. You don't get to use the Bible to justify Islam, then turn around and ignore the parts where the Bible clearly contradicts Islam. Well, that could be a fair point. And again, this isn't my take! I don't even know what the initial post is, but we'll go over this anyways. In exactly what context is it okay to make jokes about gassing people, especially as a German? Look. Humor is subjective, and people are going to make jokes out of things you don't like. It's going to happen. You cannot stop it, and trying to stop it's going to drive you insane. So stop. If you don't like it that's around you, then bully them. But other than that, who cares? In the context of a private Discord with less than 10 people... God, this is 3 years old or 2 years old. Why are we even looking at this? Who cares? Oh my God, who cares? Anywho, I promised I would show you guys something, and something I shall show you. So, what was it? Brittany, please. Said, Lio was the one who leaked those sessions of the chat after reassuring me. Reassuring you of what? Well, let's find out, because I posted it here, just for fun. I need to ask you something, if you have a minute. Sure. I'm looking at the Skyperius file again, and I'm missing a lot more of the conversations than I thought. There's a lot of missing context, and it seems that more egregious evidence I have is in the Terra screenshots. I don't have access to the Lily chats that happened around the same time Terra and I were speaking. I'm also crawling out of my skin reading this because I'm justifying legitimately horrible crap Lily played on my already effed up perspectives on relationships due to childhood sexual abuse and other instances of online grooming throughout my teenage years that convinced me that certain age gap relationships were okay and talking to her about it was normal. This would most likely come back on me more than her due to the missing conversations, and I'm hating myself for saying some of this stuff. How old were you, and how old was Lily? 22. I was a really naive 22-year-old. I don't even recognize myself in these logs. Lily and I are the same age. I don't need anybody to read on for me. I'll be fine. You need to pass them to me and let me see them. Alright, I just don't know in any way stand by some of the crap I said back then. Wait, hold on. That's right. I saved it as a web page, and it looks like the original file is missing some of the conversation that used to be there for some reason. My Gyazo collections go back further. Gotcha. Go ahead and post in the group chat too, please. To be quite honest, or whatever, I'm just nervous showing this now. I forgot how far I justified crap with her and the things I said. I can explain all day that I had a warped view of things due to sexual abuse and Lily feeding into it, but I don't have proof. Regardless, I'm disgusted with myself seeing that. So that means you've grown. You can't keep condemning yourself for views you don't have anymore. Time to grow up, don't you think? Yeah, but you and I both know the internet has a hard time understanding that people grow beyond crappy takes. Meanwhile, your friend's posting something 2 years old. Fantastic. You'll be okay. Now, here's the thing. Alright, well, what's hidden on it? I'll figure it out later. Where am I going? Where am I going? The scuff returns. One moment. And yes, I know the screen's black. You don't need to tell me the screen's black. I did that intentionally. Boom. Yes. Now, the thing is, the logs that Brittany gave me were very damning to Brittany. And we'll see some of them in this doc. Angie Angel for $2. Freshly 22. Neurodivergent and a minor. Yes. The reason this is a problem is because I'm not as dumb as people want to think I am. Brittany was trying to play me. Brittany was trying to play off my empathy for people who have gone through horrible things. Truth of the matter is you're both the same doggone age. You are just as guilty. Regardless of what you've gone through. Accept it and move on. But now, we'll get into the actual doc here. Finnick Doc 2, Brit, Radio Edition. Warning! This doc contains discussions of, in no order of importance, child sexual assault, racial slurs, trans misogyny, suicide, zoophilia, and the distribution of child sexual exploitation material. Please continue at your own discretion. Introduction. There's a lot of stuff to this, just so you're all aware. So I don't know how long we're going to be here. God, 91 pages! Alright, so we have major players. Brittany, Lily, Courtney, Nicole. Oh, that's who Phoenix Foxhound is. Former member of my server and friend of Brit, hence the White Knighting. Cadaver Coyote, thank you for $2. Go get some pizza for dinner. I actually do have pizza for dinner. She also went by Rat Hound in Cy Scribble's Discord server, so somebody find her and bully her. This is relevant solely for the screenshot. She has put out the vast majority of allegations against me and is covered in the sections where I defend myself. Another defender of Cy. Of course, Patchwork, because of course that degenerate's in here. Poppy and Zine, of course those freaks are involved in all of this. Homst. What is this? What is this? I got it. Mari, I don't know why it's not letting you post that. But hello. Always the DMs when I am working on stuff. Now, we also have additional evidence. There's a lot of additional evidence. Anyways, lost Britt and Lily stuff. Britt's post gaps. Britt versus Easy. I believe Easy's a child, so very smart. Altered testimonies, the silly stuff. I don't care about the silly stuff. In light of the events of the past year, I feel it's time for me to break my silence. I fully own that my first doc had major issues. I was younger and going through some very difficult things, so there are plenty of things I would have done differently. I want to highlight what I would consider fair and unfair criticism of my work. The first section of this doc will be pulling double duty. DC Comics Kindle for $1. Thank you very much. 1. I'll be addressing the more serious criticisms and allegations Britt's Galaxy Brain and her community have been levying at me to discredit me and anything I've posted, as well as make me a suitable target for whatever abuse and anger they've wanted to vent at me. 2. It will serve as a valuable insight into how they construct their criticisms and what they consider evidence. Britt and her community are bitter, spiteful, untrustworthy, and incredibly reckless with their bad faith assumptions, which they call logic, based on proof. The fact she's leading her younger followers down is downright dangerous and needs to be addressed. These people aren't just deranged. Their conjecture is both reckless and dangerous. When you see them throwing around allegations like race faking... Race faking? What? Abuse of minors and supporting/defending pedophiles, you need to understand the logic behind those allegations. From here, the doc will break down criticisms of Britt into 3 sections. 1. How her time in my server ended and what led to her being banned. This also contains evidence of the behavior mentioned above. 2. Her attempts to frame certain conversations with Lily as playing along, when they do more to reveal her extremely troubling perspective on minors and maturity. Fantastic. One of the kitties is fussing because it's not being let into our bedroom. 3. How Britt's penchant for cruelty and mishandling of her influence may have led to the harassment of several minors, including a 17-year-old trans girl who, as a direct result of it, attempted to take her own life and ended up in the hospital. Our favorite hero, Britt. This includes how she continued to target her after being directly informed of why it was impossible for the person to do what she was accusing them of. Fantastic. I am getting old and I'm too old for this. I will back up my allegations against Britt with the evidence my team and I have compiled. Some of it is testimony, so you'll just have to make your own decisions there. But also keep in mind that the vast majority of Britt's allegations are pure hearsay with little to no evidence to back them up. If at any time you feel confused about who someone is in all of this, Major Players tab is your friend on the left sidebar. If you want to jump to the different headers on this doc, you can click the Fennec.2 tab to open the table of contents. As a final note, I would like to thank every researcher who aided in the creation of this document. Thank you for believing me, and thank you for believing in me. Who's messaging me? Why do you people do this when I'm streaming all the time? Get in! Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Hidden. Thank you. Unhint. We need to start talking about making freaking things shareable on doggone streams. You dorks. You dorks! Anyways, back to the main thing. Fennec Part 1. Criticisms of the doc. First, I feel the need to own a lot of the pitfalls of my previous work and take accountability for my... oh my god. I really don't care. I don't have any ill will towards Fennec, but I don't care. This is in relation to a different doc. I believe it's whose doc was it they were working on? Britt's involvement. Despite what Britt had said since the doc came out, she was absolutely involved in its content. While she had been banned from my community before the doc came out, I had already been pushed to include things by Britt despite my initial discomfort doing so, and did not want to anger her further by leaving them out. Instead, she threw me under the bus and used it to further discredit me. Here's Britt strongly denying any kind of involvement in or pre-release knowledge of the doc. Weren't you involved with the Fennec doc? You weren't involved with the Fennec doc, were you? Some people keep saying that, but I'm not sure that's true. Thank you, just a slur, for $5. Britt could join my gay CC Avengers where we all treat Lio like he's Thanos snapping us out of existence. Well, they could. Mari could also join that. Hey, Mari. She could join that. No, I didn't even know there was going to be a doc. Lie. His original idea was to make a video script, which I had my own reservations about and didn't want to be involved with. He dropped the doc, which was actually just the rushed first draft of this video script, well after he kicked me and a couple of other people out of the server. From what I understand, the video just dropped is just a rehash of crap that's already been gone over, discussed, and condemned. The sheer lack of research that went into it and the sources that were used are just embarrassing. Aside from denying her involvement in the doc, the video she's referencing contains logs of people who have never been released publicly. It was heavily researched through testimonies of people who were present through all the events that it discusses. Notice how proudly she's not even bothering to watch the video, just assuming that it's bunk because of what people have told her without verifying it for herself. If you're familiar with the Poppy drama, you'll remember that she did the same thing when it comes to the docs against her. Here she is over 4 months before the doc came out, and I was still planning on it being in a video. Those who don't know, Cyber Magnus Next is Brit. What a miserable little dweeb, Courtney. You are not the Discord hard person you think you are. I know it's so crappy to be stuck in his loop of spite forever, but I gotta say, his behavior is so funny from the outside. I think I scared him out, so we had to make stuff up. I believe it's because people like Brit keep it quiet. Oh. Right? She's just erasing history. Fennec, I take back all my reservations about your vid plans. So that was a lie? Correct. Brit was happy to be credited as a collaborator. Here's Brit after the doc came out claiming she refused to be involved in the vid/doc from the start. And Courtney doesn't know that Fennec and I fell out and I refused to be involved with this from the start. From the start, you say. Huh. So I'm going to get dragged into this. You need to be dragged behind the jail. Here's Brit's almost 4 months earlier, happy about being named as a collaborator. I'm bringing up how you helped me in the court video so people won't try to throw you under the bus by proxy. Exactly. You're a bro, Finn. I have more, but this makes the point. The drug abuse section? Why is there a drug abuse section? Exposing Courtney's alleged drug abuse has publicly made people very uncomfortable. Of course, it was at Brit's insistence. While I do find it concerning that Courtney was allegedly abusing hard substances around minors, and even encouraging already vulnerable people to try them, it didn't feel appropriate to out her for it because revealing someone's addiction struggles without their consent can worsen them. Whatever. Britt agreed Courtney was a groomer. Here's Britt after the document came out, saying that what Courtney did was not grooming. I'll say it's unsurprising. She would publicly take this stance. She was a moderator in Courtney's original server. Y'all are way too lenient with Courtney. Getting real tired of people acting like everyone in this space is a monolith. Just because we aren't using the grooming word to describe something that was not grooming, but was still irresponsible and potentially harmless, is not leniency. Y'all don't know how I personally feel about her because I try to keep my beef with her out of the public eye. It's amazing how, suddenly, nuance now is important. Mic popping? Interesting. Britt, a few months earlier, it's definitely effing grooming. To be clear, Courtney's victim uses he, him pronouns. Of course, it's definitely effing grooming. Do you think Courtney has an attraction, though, or just non-existent boundaries? I don't know. I really cannot tell, but I cannot fathom someone under any circumstance seeing that as normal. Unfortunately, this is all very, 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 very common. If she never fully unpacked the childhood grooming and sexual abuse, that would do it. Thank you for being an armchair psychologist, you worthless piece of garbage. Find a bridge. Like, she's acknowledged that it happened, but I don't think she's realized how it's affected her sense of normalcy. I realize I'm being generous here, but man, I really just don't want another situation. Who is situation? Because that's capitalized. I kind of don't feel like she gets any more wiggle room from me. How is it popping? Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Alright, is it still popping? Because I'd have no idea. Let me try this. A little lower. And that's fair. Granted, you've seen more than I have. Yeah, hearing from Blank directly on this, it feels like if I give Courtney any more leeway than I have, then I'm not helping him. I've definitely been in the denial stage for a while on this myself. Don't get me wrong, I see where you're coming from. I just don't have it in me anymore. Dude, if the Blank combos were that bad, I trust your judgment. They were pretty bad, yeah. Dean Draxon for $5. Still popping, huh? It literally doesn't matter if she had an attraction or if it was a lack of boundaries. She harmed a child. That's what matters. Let me see what's going on here. Alright, so let's try it now. We'll see what happens going forward. It literally doesn't matter if she has an attraction or if it was lack of boundaries. She harmed a child. That's what matters. True. True. I've had it a couple of years. Shouldn't be any reason why. And yes, I've unplugged it twice now. Nicole, a.k.a. Foxhound. Nicole is a close friend of Britt's who runs the Tumblr account Finnick Foxhound, where she's been relentlessly stalking and attacking me for over a year. Where they were both in my server and got banned for reasons I'll explain soon in the Brit Part 1 section. Man, it's still going pop. Let me see here. Alright, well, we're going to try this again. I can't make any promises. I don't know what's going on. Like, honestly, I don't know. I also don't know how bad the popping actually is. Beefamess says it's not a problem, but other people are saying it is one, so we'll see. We'll see. Thing is, I don't know if it's the mic, or if it's the cord, or whatever. Anywho. I have a pop filter. It's right in front of the mic. This is annoying. Why is okay when I say it's popping, is it making a random popping noise or is it only like accentuating certain words? Shouldn't have blown out the mic. Let me try something. Alright, I think I've done everything I could at this point other than getting new chords, which obviously I can't do within a minute, so you guys will have to let me know if it's still bad. You guys saw I was still speaking because I had muted it while I fiddled with things to do whatnot. Alright, so are we alive? Okay. I think I just need new chords, honestly. Anywho. Then it's definitely the chords. Nicole is a close friend of Britt's who runs a Tumblr account Phoenix Foxhound, where she's been relentlessly stalking and attacking me for over a year. They were both in my server and got banned for reasons I'll explain soon in the Brit Part 1 section. Fun fact, Phoenix Courtney callout documented the script for what was supposed to be a YouTube video. How do I know this? He asked me to do voice acting for it. Finnick DM'd me asking me to do this after the initial first voice call I ever had with him in it. I am willing to admit I am at fault for not being completely knowing of the shallowness of Finn's claims when agreeing to voice act for him. I also don't know how many other people he asked to do voiceovers for him. Guys, I don't think it's the mic, okay? I think it's the chords. When I requested her assistance, the doc was going to be a video. That changed when I realized I was in over my head as far as editing videos and my computer was not up to the task. By this point, I was already exhausted by the Courtney situation and wanted to move away from the space and public discussions of grooming altogether. You can see it in this conversation. You'll be missing how good it felt to put that hoe in the ground. More accurate, I actually started thinking about it recently. I've been at this for so long. It's going to feel weird when it's finally over. I'm dipping out mostly after the Courtney stuff, I think. I'm nearing the end. I'm an endurance hunter. Had to just wait for her to trip or get tired. Yeah, that's why I've been obsessing over her sister for a decade. I don't shame people in my chat hidden. In this context, that hoe refers to Lily. While I do not have anything good to say about Lily or wish to defend her in any way, the intensity of Nicole's language is important to note. The way she mentions the thrill of the hunt shows she actively gets a rush from it. And this is an emblematic example of Britt's group deeply unhealthy approach towards this kind of thing. This comes through in her own blog post about me. Whether or not it's out of any sense of justice or protecting anyone, she's clearly focused on the thrill. Nicole defending Courtney. This also shows how extremely she words things, using a lot of hyperbole to stress her points, as you can see in her defense of Courtney against the grooming allegations. We all know Finnick crashed and burned after his call-out document on Courtney failed because it was spiteful and he didn't care about the victims. That being said, was there any actual evidence of Courtney doing any concerning behavior beneath all of Finnick's bullcrap? Kind of. Nowhere near the level Finnick was suggesting. But there were definitely things Courtney has handled poorly from what I saw and knew. Courtney has issues, but ones that are actual persistent problems weren't really examined in Finnick's document. Is Courtney a groomer? Absolutely not. Has Courtney said stupid things around minors they shouldn't have? Yes. Are those things call-out document worthy? Not really. Courtney's not a danger in the way as far as I know. You wouldn't know if anybody's a danger because you're an idiot. Courtney specifically tried to make her serve as a safe space for minors. None of you are my kids. It's not my job to parent you. I go out of my way to make a safe space for people who have been victimized because I want to provide that. Not because it's my job or responsibility. I'll joke about being you guys' dad, but when it comes down to it, I'm just a stranger on the internet to most, if not all of you. For any of you actually know, I could kick puppies in my spare time. Okay. The fact she was doing things like leaning on a minor for support doing a suicidal spiral is absolutely worth discussing and documenting. You guys should go look at Hidden's video for all of this. While I do consider what Courtney has done to Bonnabelle to be a form of non-sexual grooming, which means you shouldn't be calling it grooming, it doesn't matter what label you want to place on it. It's objectively inappropriate behavior for an adult to engage in with a minor, especially one they know exclusively through the internet. Beyond that, the most damning testimony is arguably something that needed to be exposed. Look at what this kid went through because of her. Courtney oftentimes made me feel like I had more adult than I really was with how he'd encouraged me to just act like them and stuff. And would share personal details like how she touched herself as a kid to get... Yeah, what? Gross. Blue Tashi Phantom for $2. Time to start finding some new chords for Peepaw. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. I know. I mean, I know it's hard to really know if that makes sense. I know I'm just a kid, but honestly, I feel like I've been treated like an adult, and sometimes I should be one. I feel I should be one. I think you should be allowed to be a kid. Full stop. True. And yet Nicole has still tried to frame any association with me as being enough reason to discredit Hidden Heroine's recent video on Courtney. Finnick's document being used as a source alone should be put up for scrutiny, but on top of trusting Finnick with reaching out to individuals and gathering information should immediately be a red flag for anyone curious about the video. The Finnick doc is the sole source for the kid's testimony, so what Nicole is saying here is that the evidence provided should be dismissed because I was the messenger. While there are many things from the first doc that I would now handle very differently now, the kid's testimony is not one of them. The fact that Nicole thinks I should be ashamed for that speaks volumes. True. Spite. This part is kind of funny, but mainly it's relevant to how unserious these people are with their attempts to use whatever they can against me. One of the ways they tried to discredit me was to point out how spiteful and petty I was. While this isn't untrue, it definitely doesn't mean the evidence isn't important. Both things can be true. The website. Let's talk about the website. Hey kids, want to see something else Finnick thought was more important than half the testimonies he received? If you're confused at what you're looking at, this is a webpage Finnick made that was supposed to be paired with his expose. It can be found here. Check it out while you can before Finnick inevitably sees his post and deletes the page. I made this site to troll Courtney, but I realized afterwards it was actually in poor taste to post it on the same day as the doc. I didn't take it down because I didn't figure anyone would post it themselves. Of course, Nicole dropped it with the intent to sabotage the doc because that's how her brain works. What is wrong with this woman? What is wrong with this woman? Yada yada yada. I didn't make this image for Courtney. It was officially made as ugly as possible and passed around among my friends as a joke because of the gross out humor. As an example of how the joke existed in other forms, here's a far less hideous version. Okay. Basically, it was an edgy crap post. While it was partially out of spite, it was mainly to keep her retaliation focused on me rather than the victims who came to me. I did not consider how it would be used to discredit me. I tried taking it down about 6 months ago, only to find out I no longer had access to the account I made it on. But even if I could, I wouldn't now because I don't want to hide that I did it. Courtney's birthday. Why is her birthday listed here? For this criticism, I still don't regret releasing a doc on her birthday because, one, I don't think it's that big of a deal to F her. Fun fact, my video on Spotter came out on his birthday. So, you know. Oh, God. Why am I being messaged now? Of course, it's hidden. If you think this discredits me after everything she's done to me, my friends, I don't know what to tell you. Might be a controversial take, but I think that abuse victims are allowed to be a little bitter and petty sometimes. As a treat. True. Whether you disagree shouldn't affect whether or not you take the evidence seriously. Also true. A note to Courtney's victim. I used every testimony from people who responded about the doc. If I left someone out and they would like me to share their story, please let me know. And this is where we get to Britt. Finally. Oh my God. Britt Part 1. Banning Britt. Let's discuss the months leading up to her being kicked from my server and the release of the document. Let's talk about why I banned her from my server. Britt's racism. If there's worse things in this doc, and this is the first thing that we're going to be talking about concerning Britt, I'm going to be pissed. I know I'm going to be pissed. This was the major incident that started to push things towards a breaking point when Britt suggested that Patchwork Heart might be claimed by his family's tribe in order to shield themselves from allegations. This also led to me discovering that Britt had been making POC in my server uncomfortable for a while. Oh boy. Well, how about that? They're why I joined the server partially. They got abused by Patchwork Heart. What? Who got abused by Patchwork Heart? No grooming, but harassed. Who? Okay, you can't censor these things. I won't know who's being talked about. Don't. I hate it when people do this vague post-read garbage. For those of you who don't know, Patrick Harvey is a public alleged victim of Lily Orchard. He came out with a video accusing Lily of financially coercing him into drawing sexually explicit artwork of people, let's say, with animals. True. I understand that there are many people with negative feelings about my impressions of Patch, but I want to make it clear this is less about him and more about how Britt and her friends' pattern of behavior showed up when attacking him. Doing the Native American thing is referenced how many people feel that Lily Orchard used her heavily questioned by claimed natives indigenous heritage as a way to shield herself from allegations. Saying Patch is doing the same thing, I have no idea. I have no idea. Patch is... I'm not even going to pretend like I know that. From the Cherokee Nation and was claimed in 2019. His relationship with his culture has been highly personal and private journey, and it is none of Britt's business. Lily's claim to native ancestry isn't relevant or related to him. This is a glaring example of how Britt doesn't know how to differentiate between correlation and causation. Associating Patch's journey to connect more deeply with his ancestry and the debacle around Lily is taking two events that happen around the same time to imply some kind of link. Anyone who knows enough about this kind of work knows that you have to be very careful about mixing up correlation and causation. It's one of the most well-known foundations of statistics and data analysis, and I don't just mean professionally. I mean when looking at information in general. Just Google correlation versus causation to see. Ah, yes, Google it. More importantly, this has been a repeated issue with Britt's standard of what she considers evidence. This is one of the many examples of the level of proof she likes to form theories around, which naturally attracts people who commit to a similar level of due diligence, i.e. barely at all. Okay, I just... no. You know what? I'm going to hop in my office. I'm going to drag Hidden in here. Hidden, get in Gall. Hidden has been summoned.
Boo. Am I?
Hello, Hidden.
Hello.
Wait, why can't I hear you?
I don't know.
The heck?
Oh no. Oh no. Disaster.
Give me a second here. Oh, that's why. Because I accidentally disconnected my audio. There we go. Now I can hear you.
Oh, thank God. Hello.
Hello. Okay, so... what am I actually supposed to be looking at here? Because I really... look, if Britt's done worse things, I really don't care about racism in this context. Like, what's going on here?
Let me see.
Where should I actually go to get to something important here? Because I don't really want to spend the next 3 hours on a 91-page doc and primarily going through racism and being mean.
Let me just take, like, a little look-see real quick, because the doc is a little bit over the place because it's just been reorganized. So something I do think is important is the section where they accuse, like, you're literally about to hit it, where they accuse Patch of grooming with no evidence. And right after, they talk about weaponizing both Fennec's and Patch's CSA. But then, I think you can just keep going. Like, I think they finally took out everything that mattered, but if you really want to skip to the important stuff, you need to go to, like, let's see. I need to find it. You need to go to Brit Part 2, which is Lily, and that should be on page 37.
Yeah, I'm just going to go there, because, like, look. Okay, surprise, surprise, Brittany's a piece of garbage, so is Patchwork. Let them fight.
Yeah, so the short end of it is basically like for chat, so they don't have to read through it. The short end is that Fennec told, I think, yeah, Britt in very confidence that something awful happened to them when they were a child, and instead of being normal about it, Britt was like, oh yeah, Fennec totally wants to fuck their brother. Which,
okay,
like, no.
What page? No. What page are we on for that?
That should be... okay, so if you want to read about that, that's up earlier. I think you passed it. Let me just
Is it on page 30 or 29?
It should be page... I can't read... it's... so the one with the CSA is on page 24. But I'm zoomed in. You might be on a different page, so...
The pages should
It's called... okay, so, yeah.
It's called
but
what?
Again,
It's called what?
Don't you know what I mean?
called
Listen,
what?
it's called. They did the same to me as the part about the CSA.
Okay, but what's the name of the section?
Can I just open this? Yeah, the section is literally called "They Did the Same to Me," and
Okay,
it's
I'm
still
finally
on
on it.
part 1.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so proud of you.
Anywho, Cy Scribbles is a YouTube art commentary streamer who Sheev is a moderator for. This ended up turning into an echo chamber where Britt, Nicole, Sheev, and other friends would reinforce each other's bad faith paranoia about me and others server members would get pulled into it. The screenshot is from another member of the server. Just a warning, Finnick, the guy who wrote the Courtney doc, is sliding up to hidden heroin for probably another vid. Finnick is on record for being pro-paraphile, aka pro-zoo-pedo-necro, and has talked about wanting to F his brother. What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep, that
What?
is the kind of shit that they spread
What?
about Fennec. None of it is true. None of it is true.
I was in Courtney's server for CSA survivors, which Britt was a mod for. Why would you put Britt as a mod for anything? I told Britt about my experience as an incest survivor in our DMs. I told her about how my brother and I were abused by the same person, and that person went on to tell me I was a danger to my siblings due to being bisexual. Okay. I began to convince myself that I was a future predator and spent years in isolation. Even though I know it's not true, I still struggle with physical closeness as a result of this fear becoming like my abuser. I had a hard time hugging my brother because my first thought is, you're disgusting and you're just like blank. I was 14 when he first said that to me. Yeah, that's why it was upsetting for me. I want to end this, man, slowly and painfully. Your inner critic develops based on the feelings you were said to people by growing up, and he effing inserted that fear of hugging your brother and made you think you're predatory because he was projecting his crap on you. He doesn't deserve to breathe. Which one of you hoes keeps hopping in my calls?
This is my first time joining.
No, it's Baiji. Therefore, I consider myself not.
Okay,
Welcome
then.
on stream.
Oh, this is a stream? Oh, I didn't even read that.
It's all good.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Oh. Well, anyways.
No, I am gay.
Alright, see ya.
Thank you.
This is the only possible conversation this could have come from. Britt was supportive of me, or at least I believe she was at the time. Now it's clear to me her support was conditional on my loyalty to her. Surprise, surprise, Brittany's a piece of garbage. Mm-hmm. Since then, Britt has warped my very real CSA trauma into the story where I want to inflict that kind of horror on my brother, another CSA victim who has nothing to do with our personal beef. And hence, Brittany should kill herself. Remember, she was a mod for CSA Survivor server, and we all thought we could trust her and Courtney. I was 21 at the time. I think she was 31. This 30-something-year-old woman is still obsessing over a 10-year-old beef. Keep that in mind. Anyone who's still friends with Britt should know if things ever sour between her and them. Anything they trust her with on a personal level is something she'll see as fair game to hurt them with. Well, doesn't that sound normal in these spaces?
It's horrific. Just reading through it is just, what a choice.
Zoophilia. One of the things Britt and Tepes have stated that they believe Patch is a zoophile. Man, even I didn't say that. This is likely due to how he drew zoophilic art for Lily Orchard, who he alleges he was financially abused by and coerced into drawing zoophilic artwork. If there was some other allegation attached to this, it's unknown. They have not clarified the full extent of what they are accusing Patch of or why. Again, this screenshot is the only evidence that Britt Ferrada was asked about. They're why I joined the server partially. They got abused by Patchwork art. Wait, what? Not grooming, but harassed. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Patch is a dick. Okay, I don't see where an allegation of zoophilia is made here. So, I don't... What? Even if I believe the allegation, presenting this proof of him is confusing at best because it doesn't even mention it. That being said, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, don't you think, Britt? Britt's wolf fixation or glass houses. I'm going to be miserable in this section, aren't I?
This is not... You're going to have fun, Lio, I swear. It's going to be great.
We need to talk about definitions of fun here. Britt's Not Safe for Work blog was called Angel Wolf After Dark, as you can see here. I am so not clicking that. Yo, darlings, I have a main blog I've been more active on lately. I repost eclectic, spiritual, and psychological stuff, vintage architecture and interior design, old tech, old web, and a lot of art. If anyone is interested in seeing the weirder stuff I don't post here, my main blog is Cyber Magnus Next. Yes, that's a real photo of her as a profile picture for her Not Safe for Work blog for some reason. Here's a post from it. That isn't a furry. This isn't cartoonified, anthropomorphized version of a wolf. That's just an effing wolf.
Sorry.
Why are we here? Are we here just to suffer?
Listen, I know which section is coming up, so it's not going to get better.
Unfortunately, since she seems so intent on aggressively throwing potentially life-ruining allegations against a victim of a figure she centered her life around attacking, this is to expose the hypocrisy of her aggressive attacks against others. It also feels necessary to show that she's an effing hypocrite, and she needs to stop trying to cover for herself like this. Britt makes it a point to intensely campaign against paraphilias, including a taboo fictional material, explicitly including zoophilia, but it's pretty clear this is one of those situations like a firebrand anti-gay politician being caught screwing twink interns in an empty conference room.
Lio, your mic is glitching on stream.
I know, It's been glitching out the whole time, and I do not know how to stop it.
Alright.
But I'm going to try to again. One moment.
It's okay. We're fine. This is fine. Yeah, sure, why not? I can... Okay. Wait. Listen, we're just gonna skip to the interesting section, which is Britt's wolf dildo. I think that's the section chat cares about. If we're going by Brit's standards and someone is a zoophile because of art they were most likely groomed and coerced into drawing, I wonder what it means when someone wants to see what a redacted feels like in real life. She made this post in my server full of people in their late teens and early 20s. Yeah, the one I made to give former members of Courtney's first server a place to go after she rage deleted the safe space she'd made for CSA survivors and people fleeing Lily's fandom, including minors. And then Cybermegas next says, I found one I really want on a site called Juliet and Martin's CV Fantasy Toy. And then if you look at the link, it says Fantasy Dildo, Wolf Dildo, not Dildo. I'm just gonna leave you guys to it for a second to, you know. Now to be fair, this was in the age-gated not safe for work section of the server, but why were we the group that she wanted to share this with? Even if there were no minors, why was Britt sharing the fact that she really wanted to see what a knotted wolf dick dildo felt like? Normally, this wouldn't even be something I'm worried about. After all, Bad Dragon is an extremely popular sex toy brand that specializes in different dildo shapes, including many animal-based ones for weird furry shit. It's easy to dismiss it as just fantasy and wanting to try new things. Is this relevant enough to be appropriate to share? Well, it will be more in a bit, but it's worth bringing up because Britt has recklessly thrown around potentially life-ruining accusations about multiple people with zero evidence, just her own conspiracy-brained armchair pret hunter logic. And to be absolutely clear, I don't think her wanting a weird dildo is proof of her wanting to actually have sex with animals. I just don't like abusive hypocrites. Great chat. This is like the section on the stream that just killed me. Also, reminder that this was in the chat, like, in the server, where people went after Courtney, who collected people who were victims of Lily Orchard. So all of them had some sort of sexual trauma, and Britt said, yeah, let me talk about the way I want knotted dildos. Oh, this is the racism section. Do we want to go through the racism section? Do I care about the racism section? Let's see. I wonder if I can just make people skip this. Yeah. It is, yeah. I think it might just be a quote. I looked it up earlier. Seems like it's all just like hardware issue, not necessarily anything else. I believe. Live tech support and stream chat. Just a little aside, back to the racism. Yeah, again, I've talked to Fennec about it. Oh, this is better. Yeah, no problem at all. Completely.
Alright, let's try it like this then, and see if this gets us anywhere.
Oh no.
Alright, so where are we now?
We're currently on the back to the racism section, but I'm half sure we could just skip it and we could just go to the Brit Part 2 Lily section to get into what actually matters.
Yeah, let's do that, because racism's bad, but some things are a little more of a problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, like, really skip, we can also go, like, we can skip the transphobia section, because it just talks about Brit not wanting to accept Lily's identity. And then you can go to violating victim confidentiality, because this is where Brit just shares victims' testimony without any sort of permission whatsoever. Yeah, that's probably an interesting section.
I also see we have some laws to look at, but let's go at violating victim confidentiality. All right. Speaking of which, we're 1/3 through this doc at an hour and a half in. Fantastic.
Listen, half an hour is just tech stuff, so it's like we're an hour in, okay? We gotta stay positive.
Violating victim confidentiality. Note, the individual this section is about would like to remain anonymous. Please respect that request. Hold on, let me do something real quick since you're here.
I am here. What a terrifying sentence.
There we go. Just putting you on screen for the audience.
Oh.
So what happens when a victim comes directly to her? A teenager messaged Britt on Tumblr looking for someone to talk to about their experiences with Lily. Britt didn't even wait until the conversation was over to post screenshots in my server. If my IRL best friend hadn't had some similarly wild encounters with Lily, this would almost be too much for me to believe. She had another alt account, a more personal one. What do you mean the mic is dying? Is it still dying?
It's a lot less worse than it was before.
Great. Fantastic. Whatever. The kid has given me permission to share the following messages from the above post with the exception of the actual details as they can't prove their allegations against Lily and just want to move on with their life. The important part is how Britt shared them immediately. Look at the timestamps of her post and these screenshots. Okay, that's still a problem.
Yeah,
while building this doc, I remembered this and remembered I'd never thought about whether Britt got permission to share them. Since this kid had ended up joining my server, I asked them directly. Oh, God. I don't even think... Of course I didn't give that. Hold on, I need to make this post, otherwise people are going to keep talking about it. Did it freeze on me? Great. More scuff. Love the more scuff.
Okay, we're gonna make it through. It's not a you stream if we don't have scuff. Okay.
True, but it usually shouldn't be this bad.
True. Listen, I earlier said KP finally got you, so...
Gay?
Just fucking Myriad, just pretend that Lio's streaming fun Antarctica makes the scuff interesting. Sure, why not?
I'm just gonna make this a pin post so we don't keep getting it every 5 minutes. So no, in case I need to explicitly state it, the thing about sexual trauma is that a victim's testimony is where they get to reclaim their autonomy and power. While the public discourse around these things can easily veer into gossipy territory, if you're the person the testimony was provided to, and you've been entrusted with something extremely sensitive and private, sharing it with friends without permission to just go OMG is a gross violation of that trust and responsibility. You don't say. The lost Lily logs. I've heard rumors of some questionable materials in Britt's archived Lily logs that were no longer public. The Skype logs in particular were incredibly difficult to get a hold of, which is strange considering how thoroughly Britt has archived and posted everything else. We found a blog post archived online. Yada yada yada. More complete archives can be found here and here. The logs linked as 2.0 in the blog. Our posts are complete. The odd thing is that while there are definitely screenshots in there that reinforce her allegations against Lily, many of the logs aren't really relevant to that purpose. Hold on. Once again, getting DM'd.
Yeah, so this is kind of just a section that explains that Britt sets up these logs as just playing along, which is blatantly untrue. But I know why she does it, because I know what's in the logs, so.
Anywho. The odd thing is, while there are definitely screenshots in there that reinforce her allegations, yada yada, they seem to be more to reinforce her innocence or just something venting her bitterness over Lily downplaying their friendship. It's kind of jarring to go from screenshots of Lily apparently actively gloating about breaking a woman by raping her to this image bitterly captioned, I was such a bad friend. The heck did I just read?
Yeah.
Alright, so do you want to voice Brittany or do you want to voice Lily?
I want to be Lily.
That's going to get clipped. Alright, go ahead.
Hey.
Hang on. What's up?
Not much. I've been feeling pretty shitty lately, but my necklace came in.
Why feeling bad?
Well, it's kind of surreal, actually. My own body feels like it doesn't fit, if you can believe that. Like a suit that's on too tight.
Sounds like you're getting the dysphoria.
The what?
Dysmorphia. My bad.
I still don't know what that is.
Aw, man. Whichever one trans people get that makes them feel like they're in the wrong body.
Oh, that actually has symptoms? I always thought it was just disappointment and depression.
No, they actually literally feel like their body is wrong.
Oh, this is gonna be a real bitch to put up with.
Sad face.
Why this sad face?
I don't want you to be sad.
From the looks of it, I don't have many other options otherwise, do I?
I don't know.
Lays head in your lap. I'm not really sad, just tired and weary.
Runs fingers through your hair.
Oh no. Nuzzles and mules happily.
To be fair, this made sense at the time. Britt was deeply hurt by this betrayal, and she was only 25 when she released these logs. A 25-year-old minor.
Mm-hmm.
These were bound to be personal feelings mixed in. But how does this affect her credibility when it comes to things she wasn't actually okay with? Playing along. For those who are not aware, Britt has accused Lily of catfishing her under the alias Tara Callie. She provided both proof it was a sock puppet and evidence of the coercion from Tara. But Britt has frequently stated that she only played along with Lily's more questionable interests. The description included for context with the original Tara log screenshots largely seem to back this up. There comes to a point when it stops being gay-opping and starts being complicity. Or even something she was actively agreeing with. For example, this can easily be accepted as her trying to fish for some sort of verification that Tara is a real person, not just Lily. Of all the screenshots that were taken by Britt, so Tara/Lily are the gray bubbles and Britt is the blue ones. Whomst.
Who are you? Why is the nutsucker here?
I don't know, but he can leave.
Yoink. Oh,
anywho.
Mm-hmm.
I am not reading this. I am not getting clit chipped. Not today.
Why not?
No. The chat can read it in their own time.
Aww. Boy, oh boy.
Brit and minors.
Oh yeah, this is the bad section.
Of course. Of course. What follows is from July 19th, 2015. XD, one of my talents. Anywho, so I left work early last night since I had personal time to spare, and there's been F all to do ever since we cleaned the place out for Prime Day. The girl I've been hanging around showed up at lunch and took me to see her creepy friend. She works at a haunted house. We eventually ended up at another girl's house and shared a couple of blunts. The younger sister of this girl was freaking OMG gorgeous. Really adorable, perfect body, flirty, had a subtle way to look at you, etc. Like, dang. Well, we piled into this dude's car and took a trip to 7-Eleven. And while we were standing in line, I casually asked how old she was. She gave me that look and slight shoulder twist and said, "I'm 15, winky face." In my head, there was an immediate cacophony of scratched records, screeching brakes, and large vehicles going in reverse.
Abandoned ship. It's a trap. Red alert. Shields up. To view the shared photo, go to also this face.
Exactly, XD. The girl is an effing poster child for jailbait. Vlad? Vlad, I blame you.
Yep.
XD. The girl took me out The girl that took me out said she had a similar experience with her, only it was at a pool party with alcohol involved, and said jailbait was feeling all up on her chest before she realized how young she was. XD. Yeah, this is really funny. Very funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This girl is evil.
I know, and she hangs out with the creepies since she first worked at the house too, so she seems really mature for a 15-year-old.
What is it about minors that so many people find tempting?
I don't know, Lily. You and Brittany could probably tell us. I normally don't find minors tempting at all. Normally! But if they're mature for their age, my eyes wander. 22-year-old minor, everybody. But I ain't touching them with a 10-foot pole.
I know you wouldn't, actually, but had you ever had that fantasy?
To me, a mature minor is just a person.
Yeah, just playing along, guys.
Vlad heard that I yelled his name in part of this, and that's why he came back.
Oh my god.
It's one thing to play into someone's fantasy stay on their good side, but this goes beyond that. This is a detailed sexualization of a minor. She and Lily are both freely using the term jailbreak to describe a 15-year-old girl. And again, we saw in my DMs with her that she at no point said this is her playing along. So if she's claiming that now, she's just lying. Britt describes how good her body looked and how flirtatious she was. Remember, this is after she found out they were 15 years old. True. It's important to establish how old Britt was here. How old were you when you stopped talking to Lily? 23. And I have no idea why it made the 23 so huge. Okay. Her own published logs clearly showed that her and Lily stopped speaking in 2015, which means that Britt was 23 at the time of these messages since they happened in 2015. Obviously, her not engaging past that point is the correct response. Nobody in their right mind would argue that it isn't. My issue is not that she accidentally hit on a teenager, but rather the way she goes on to discuss it with Lily. Yeah, gee, wonder why.
Who? I'm going to start killing people. No, go away. Shoot.
I'm gonna fix this. How do I do this?
I like how it made it like a huge thing of like, hey, we're live on stream, do not enter, and people are like, oh, this sign can't stop me because I can. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned jailbait twice, Vlad. That's why you got mentioned. Anywho, obviously her not engaging past that point is the correct response. Yada yada yada. But rather the way she goes on to discuss it with Lily. I haven't had any fantasies actually involving innocence and whatnot.
Alrighty then.
But now you've got me curious.
What?
What were you getting at, X3?
I mean, have you ever had a fantasy about being with someone who was underage? That seems to be common these days.
Psh, dude, I was a booty call for someone who was underage in high school. There was only a 3-year difference between us, though.
Oh my.
Spotter, is that you?
Spotter woman?
We got together when I was 18 and she was 15, 16, and again when I was 19.
Well, hi there, Stockholm Mode XP.
XD, I was underage when I dated Sean. He was 18, I was 16. I chased a 23-year-old on Guild Wars when I was 16, but nothing ever came of it.
Looks like Texas just breeds jailbait, doesn't it?
I've been effing with age gaps for a while, which is why in some instances I find the current age laws annoying, but I completely understand why they need to be in place. The mature ones are rare.
Valkyr Studios sends a YouTube link.
I just realized how bad that first sentence sounds. Correction, I've been challenging age gaps for a while. Well, calm down there, Namla.
Oh my god. XP, you've been fucking with the very bounds of reality, Miss Shemale Owl Wolf.
Reality is boring, so I create my own.
Like your reality? Wink.
:3. Now, I want to be very clear. All of this that we've been reading, everybody who's looked at Lily's thread on the farms or has followed any of this knows about Brittany's infamous posting of these logs. These were never posted publicly. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why Brittany intentionally left this off. Maybe because it condemns her just as much as it condemns Lily. And the truth of the matter is, you can't say, at the age of 23, I didn't know any better. No. No, you knew better. You were trying to see if Lily had the same interests you do, not the other way around. Which is also interesting that Stockholm's mentioned here. That means Brittany was reading Stockholm at this time to get that reference, and saw no issues with it. At 23. I want you guys to just sit there and recognize that. Just for a minute. Sit there with that just for a minute.
Chat's like, I need an adult. Yes, you do.
And for the super chat, thank you, the Linden Hour, for $2. Team 4-star go-to. Is that a red flag? Piccolo, crimson. True. True. Whether or not you think the age gap between two high skillers Britt presented here is an acceptable one, the way that she describes it here years later is cause for alarm. Lily Orchard, charming as always, cropped the message to focus exclusively on what Britt said. Reminder, Brittany's a pedophile. Because of effing course she is. This crap's always a self-report. Nobody's that pathologically obsessed with pedophilia without it being projection. Well, not inherently. Lily recently posted the entire full screenshot and have apologized for it. I don't think it's relevant and is still arguably dishonest, but I'll link it here so you can make your own decisions about it if you want. Britt responded to the post by Lily with her own. I'm only sharing Lily's comments because it's worth sharing the context of Britt's post. The first one was a conversation that had been ripped out of context. I don't expect Lily to remember that all the context was there. I had a coworker years back that took me to meet her haunted yada yada. 15-year-old on crew, coworker warned me that the kid was troubled and would constantly flirt with the adults. Also never said. Her older sister was also in the crew and didn't do much to stop it for some reason. I didn't know what she looked like. We hung out with the whole crew for a while. Went to a Shell to get drinks. Thought it was a 7-Eleven. And someone started getting really close and flirting with me. Also not what you said. She was wearing a lot of makeup and I couldn't tell how old she was, but since a coworker had warned me, I immediately asked. Sure enough, she was the girl I stayed the FR away from for the rest of the night. Hold on. Good.
Bless. Probably. See, Lio's polite. Lio doesn't sneeze into the mic. I do.
All right, back to the pain. This doesn't address what she actually said, remember? Vlad, are you still in chat? If so, this is for you. Exactly, XD. This girl is the effing poster child for jailbait, XD. Going right over that stuff again. Why was Britt hanging out with people who were comfortable with letting a minor come to a party with young adults and alcohol, especially after it was a repeat problem? Why was Britt using jailbait as a girl's nickname? Why did she say she found current age laws to be annoying? It's also important to reiterate that Britt believes the Patch is lying about being abused and manipulated by Lily into playing into her more extreme sexual interests. Remember, my dude, history of abuse and zoophilia, after most of the story around his testimony involves him claiming to be manipulated and coerced into Lily into participating in it, lying to everyone he comes across to cover his own butt. Personally, I do not care if he is or isn't claimed or why he did it. I care about everything else. Sure you do, tough girl. Sure you do. So when Pat says he was pushed into these things by Lily, she can be absolutely certain that he's lying based on her gut instinct, but when she uses the same reason as a blanket shield against things it doesn't explain, it's valid? Now, putting aside the worrying notion that Britt couldn't recognize a girl as being nearly a decade younger than her, the way this affects the current situation isn't the weirdness of the 23-year-old Britt's perspective of the availability of minors for the relationship with adults, it's how she views them as people versus adults. Same stuff about finding minors tempting. With the additional context of the screenshots I've already provided, this takes on concerning implications. There is a clear line from this kind of thinking about the autonomy of minors and why she thinks it's okay to expose minors to extremely inappropriate topics. A mature minor is just a person. For almost the entire time her blog has been up, she has insisted it is important for minors to continue to have access to her posts. Don't forget to check the tags. Why don't you have a minor's DNI? Why do you allow minors to participate in this place at all? It's one thing to warn them, it's another to get them involved. Chris Hansen wasn't letting real kids participate in To Catch a Predator. You shouldn't either. Are you serious? The whole point is to warn people who are vulnerable to her. No, it's to feed your ego, you deranged animal.
It gets so much worse.
Ironically, during the making of this document, her account was forcibly marked as mature by Tumblr. So, warning people about pedophiles openly posting their stuff is enough to get your whole blog marked as mature. But actually posting pedophilia isn't. Oh, effing K.
Yoink. I murdered Slug.
Hoes can't read.
Apologies.
Hoes just can't read. You know, I'm just going to be a dick for a minute. 1 second.
Oh no. Oh yeah, it does get worse. This is kind of just a preface to set up what kind of blog Britt is running, because that's important for later. So keep in mind, this is a blog for children. She wants children to read what she's putting out.
And yet not a single Transformer.
No Transformers. No cartoons either.
Somehow, Britt still doesn't understand a discussion of sexual abuse of children is a mature topic, or that there are ways to educate minors on safety without exposing them to harmful materials. I should also mention this was the same problem about several members of Courtney's first server encountered when they expressed concerns about a 15-year-old having access to chat rooms that actively discuss subjects like rape, child predation, and bestiality. Just make it so people can't join. I would, but I expect people to read. To preface, this is a call-out blog for Poppy and Xena. I noticed Courtney and Brittany tend to completely, utterly flip out and burn bridges against anyone who disagrees with them slightly, and treats them as though they were another Lily or Poppy. How do they expect anyone to stay on their side or feel safe when they often flip on a whim? I said I was uncomfortable with the presence of 15-year-old channels that discuss intense sexual topics to the point where I purposely stepped away, so I stopped contributing. I said nothing about the receipts on the Twitter account, and that is what they focused on when I was not my point. I told that 15-year-old my messages. I told that 15-year-old my messages to stop contributing because a 15-year-old should not be involved in any capacity. Is it infantilizing? Yes, because a 15-year-old cannot have an official driver's license. Well, it's not infantilizing. It's just the truth. A 15-year-old cannot drink or smoke. A 15-year-old cannot vote. A 15-year-old does not have the intellectual capacity to understand their continued involvement. Who was it?
I didn't see. I think it was Slug. Just for a second again. Man.
And now he's been timed out for an hour.
Evil.
Anywho. They do not have the capacity to consent to understand the ramifications of being exposed to what Poppy, Xena, and Lily have done. I say this as someone who has had an adult pen pal in the YouTube DMs when I was 12. I say this as someone who entered an internet writing community with primarily adults and did not disclose my full age of 15 out of fear for being treated like a child. I say this as someone who was exposed to traumatic, gory content when I was far too young to process it. And I was lucky I wasn't groomed. Lucky. Not smart. That's the key takeaway. There is no mature child, no mature 15-year-old. I don't care about the receipts, Twitter, or whatever that mess is. That's not my circus. I care about the fact that we get it. Someone even argued with Courtney about the time. I assume this big overall had to do with getting good moderation. Like I said, you clearly do not want to be there. No love lost. Have a gooder. Moderate your server with members that include sexual abuse of minors and don't threaten to dox people. It's not lost on me that you failed to answer the why is your 18 plus server? Go by the honor system. Question got dodged. True. Because the 18 plus was a effing stoner crap until Poppy came in and wanted to post lewds and nudes in a server with abuse victims and minors. So when Poppy went, so did the effing lewds and porns. It was there for at least a week after she left. It was there when I left.
That's true, actually. She's lying. I just want to point that out real quick. She's lying. As somebody who's combed through 3 of her servers, she was the one who posted it because she posted an image with her ass out in a place where children had access to it. So, you know.
I really wish I had never seen that image.
I luckily haven't. I was safe for now.
Again, I do feel it's worth mentioning that Britt was a moderator in Courtney's original server while this was happening and publicly defended the way the server was moderated. Surprise, surprise, Britt's a freak. I was in Courtney's server before moving to Poppy's. It was a small community at first, and we'd frequently talk about explicit stuff. I wish I kept these screenshots, but there were moderators saying things along the lines of, we go by the honor system when it came to preventing minors from accessing certain spaces. The 18 Plus Stoner Club, and Spicy Selfies channel. I left after realizing that the purpose of the server was not to effectively cope with trauma, but to dwell on it for entertainment, like your blog on Lily is. 10 years, people! The Lily Vending channel was mainly gossip about the latest tidbits from the Lily Orchard critical blogs. I went to Poppy's server believing that it would be better moderated because Poppy was a therapist and an established YouTuber that surely would know how to run a community, lol. It should also mention Impossible a lot was allowed to be in an impromptu group call with no prior planning and minimal moderation when she was still on the fence about associating with Lily Orchard in a Lily Orchard victim server. This is when we were trying to keep things on the down low so that we could potentially take Lily to court. No, you were never interested in that. While KP had the right to do that call, the call itself was incredibly reckless and hurt our case. No, it didn't. You're an idiot because you didn't have a case. Nothing against KP. She didn't know about this. This was the mod's fault. Anyway, I decided to never consider anyone online a real friend. Well, there goes werewolf hours. The end. Thank you for reaching out. I was not in the server when PZ, Poppy Zeno, were, so the testimony is enlightening. More of this BS. The stoner chat was exactly what it sounds like. A chat for some of us who smoked weed to chat while stoned. That's it. The spicy selfies thread was locked and only accessible by Poppy, who was the one who insisted on it. Mods and the other person, who I assume was the only one sent this since Anon said they left it with Poppy. Okay. We've established that things should not have happened here, yes?
Correct.
What else is here of actual importance? I just ran into
so
it.
if you want to go through the real batch,
I just saw it. Brit distributed CP.
Yep, that's the worst part, I think, in my personal opinion.
Can hoes be normal? Can hoes be normal for 5 minutes? Because now this is what, the third Lily Orchard victim that's like an absolute horrific freak. So we had Patch for all their things. Then we have Blake Diamond, who admitted to molesting 2 children. Now we have Brittany, who has no problem talking about children as sexual objects. And apparently, if this is to be believed, distributed CP. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yep.
I'll think about it, Crossbones. I don't even know who that person is. The Lily Critical Spear came to possess a potential link between Lily and several accounts on Senkaku Complex. Senkaku is known for posting extreme hentai and has been involved in multiple investigations and arrests for possessions of CP. The community began sharing links, archives, and even a Google Drive full of images from the account allegedly belonging to Lily. Britt reblogged a post linking the drive, clearly knowing it was potentially criminally actionable. Thank you, Baiji, for the $5. The new announcement about reading the call text doesn't apply to me, for I, a duck. Yes, true. So this dumb hoe has a drive full of this pornographic imagery of which may be questionable in the legal sense, and just links it on her blog.
Yep. Actually, there's a second thing that'll come up as well, where she links accounts directly. And I remember how I texted you about the section that you shouldn't open on stream because it's going to get your stream sniped?
Yes.
So she received a very graphic description of what was in these Google logs, and I read through it. It is deeply upsetting. And that means she's aware of what's in there when she shares this. And as a reminder, she wants children to look at her blog.
I'll go to that when I move off this reading screen a bit later. Let's get through this section, because I have a feeling this is the only one I'm actually going to care about at this point.
Yep.
Ibarra Tara's porn. Sorry, I only got 7 screenshots. I didn't realize last night it was going to be deleted, or I would have gotten more. Content warning, lolly, incest, underage, showed up, bestiality, rape. The vast majority are not censored in the slightest, even in the thumbnails. Why wouldn't you censor them, you crazy...
Yeah, they just share it. They just share it. Multiple of them. Just share it around. And are just like, oh yeah, just so you know, a trigger warning child porn. It's like...
By the way, just so you're all aware, Werewolf Hours apparently saw this link and saw no problem with it. So Werewolf Hours, find a bridge and jump. Here's a post where Britt archived the Senkaku account and reposted it. I just... don't even know anymore. Trigger warning. Not safe for life content. It's another Senkaku account. I want to say there's no way she could possibly be this stupid, but past experience have led me towards this being legit. You're the one reposting it. What the heck?
Wait until you find out why she doesn't report it. I think you're gonna really like that.
The thing is, this ended up being a textbook example of why you don't share things like this publicly before turning into the police. There's no way for the authorities to track the creator of the accounts because they were deleted soon after they were publicly revealed. But they're the smart ones. I'm the failure. Lily Orchard was seeking hardcore content on a dark web CSAM peddling forum. Holy crap, when? I've genuinely not seen anything about this. I've just seen the new Pokey Madhouse stuff. Oh, so someone else found it. Yeah, that site is dark webbed CSAM supporting hosting platform. It hosts hardcore, and she's on it. It looks like the images were removed, understandably. I still have the screenshots for the post, but I won't be posting them here again due to the guidelines, graphic nature, and the fact that the forum name shouldn't be spread. It was a forum post made by Ibaratara on an infamous CP forum seeking graphic content of children that looked like OP's sister, along with a description of the sibling down to nipple color. Did they actually even have evidence this was actually Lily, or was this more of them being insane?
So, the way that they linked it is mostly due to the interests, obviously, but also the name. For example, Essentia is the name of a character in Stockholm. So, they kind of put it all together on the idea of Lily would be into this stuff, but also the name's linked to Lily, and every time it's being pointed out, it gets deleted, which would make sense, because Lily is watching the anti-Lily Orchard movement. So, that's kind of the way they do it. But, Britt later admits that they can't directly link it to Lily, which is why they don't report it.
These people are idiots.
Yep.
As we've seen with other situations, like she's actively denied doing this. One of my ex-friends is a Lily stan and says the reason you're not linking to the Senkaku account is because there's actually nothing incriminating there. It's just big boobied anime woman, allegedly. I'm sure I need eye bleach after this, but can you please debunk this? Because one, both of you and I are in the US, posting to link this account is violating the law. And two, Lily stans really need to understand how bad this actually is. It's not just for being horny for people with big breasts. If it was that, no one would be mad. See, the problem is that I literally can't link the drives with the Senkaku content because it would put me on a list, and I refuse to subject anyone to the content in it. Which, too bad, you already did. Plus, even the archive links show some of the uncensored favorites and have porn ads all over the place. The most I can do is publicly post the screenshots of the algorithm profile information showing the favorite tags, artists, etc., and a small snippet of the Ethylene Essentia favorites page. If you or your friends want to DM me to see the archive links, assuming you're both adults, I'll show them. But it's not something I'm willing to post publicly. I refuse to link anyone to the Google Drive containing the uncensored content due to it being bad enough to be considered illegal even by US standards, aka she admitted she did it anyways, because I won't do it again. Now that she mentions it, it should be noted the content is in fact illegal in Brit State. It is really, really important to note that it does not matter that she signposted the content as a warning as to what it was, which is an actual argument I've heard people use to defend this. I need people to take a second and realize what they look like. Sensible person. She shared a link to child pornography. Brit defenders. Yeah, but she labeled the link as child pornography first. Tumblr was a mistake. If you think that sharing CP on an effing Tumblr is okay, if you just put trigger warning CP in the tags, the heck is wrong with you? Think for 2 seconds of what you'd think if someone else did that. Maybe someone you don't like. Fair point. Okay, needed to get that out. Now, you may be thinking there's no proof she actually viewed the images themselves, but that isn't the case. She admitted to herself. I'm waiting for the day her Terra Kali arrest story becomes a fulfilled prophecy. I want to grab my 14-year-old self and direct into some healthier ways to express his sexuality besides scrolling the blog of a predator on a dirty ass night. Like, dear, I know you're a budding hedonist, and I know you're bored and horny, but there are better ways. Shaking my small, dumb self. Also, leave dark cartoon discourse. And gods above, I've seen the horror she favors on sketchy websites. She get extra effing arrested. We're talking prison and solitary confinement to keep from getting murdered. Yeah, because Canada CP laws cover drawn art too, and you don't have realism stipulation American laws have. A lot of it was worse than drawn.
So,
go ahead.
Just to clarify real quick, she says a lot is worse than drawn. She doesn't mean real, she means 3D modeled. I got clarification on that. So a lot of what she looked at was 3D modeled.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Under the additional evidence tab in the sidebar, I've included screenshots of an anonymous contribution to Britt's blog describing the contents of the folder, which is clear evidence that her sharing the information led to others going through it. I felt like it was important to include as proof, but it's also extremely upsetting to read, so I've opted to leave it out of the main text here. You can proceed without reading it, but if you feel brave strong enough, remember that the Brit has repeatedly insisted it's essential for her blog to be accessible to minors. The idea that she posted it with the direct intention of minors seeing it is something I don't have strong enough words for. Even worse, by her own admission, she likely received these links to CSAM from a minor who apparently checks those sites to report images to the authorities. What?
Yep.
Most pedophiles were pedophiles victims at some point. That's not inherently true. I'm now 100% the anon who found this. Read probably made. The Senkaku account is a pedo. They're on there because they get off to it and they just want to have kids. I've already addressed that concern. They were a multi-year victim of a groomer 3D lolly artist in their childhood, and they're terribly afraid of images of themselves ending up on that website. They scroll tags to report images to authorities. I'm pretty sure they're a minor still. You're an idiot. I hate this woman.
Yep.
I hope I don't have to explain why this child should be getting help to resist these urges, but Britt still chose not to report it. Why? You might think it was because the kid was already reporting it. If that was the explanation, the following question should be, why didn't you also report it because you're an adult and can make sure it's done correctly? But it's not. Britt's explanation for not reporting the illegal images was that she wouldn't be able to prove it was actually Lily. It doesn't matter if it was Lily! It's still child pornography and you should have reported it, you freak! Okay, genuine question here, but have you or anyone else, since you discovered the Ibarra Tara account, reported that to Canada's cyber tip line? Just wanted to know. Because all we have in the eyes of law enforcement is a random username that isn't solidly linked to Lily. I could Pepe Sylvia connect all the dots to them until I'm blue in the face, but law enforcement will not care unless there's an easy link with her name explicitly attached. It's hard enough to get law enforcement to care when the perpetrator outright publicly admits to what they're doing. Look at effing hypnotist Sappho's history and tell me why she's still walking free. It has nothing to do with who you're connecting it to. You should have reported it regardless. I hate you.
Yep, and I've seen the cyber tip hotline for Canada. You don't have to link names. You can literally just paste the link to the material and be like, I found this. This is clearly CP, do something. And the rest is just up to law enforcement. There is no reason to, try to connect it to anybody. But obviously it doesn't matter because, if it's not Lily, then it's not worth reporting, so...
Let's take a second to think about that. If the account was actually owned by Lily, then Britt wouldn't have to prove it was Lily because the cops would have tracked down the account owner and arrested them whether it was Lily or not. Even worse, Britt doesn't seem to be interested in reporting child pornography to law enforcement unless it directly serves her goal of taking down Lily. It's almost like she doesn't care. If Britt is actually concerned about the safety of children, why wouldn't she report child pornography regardless of whether the account owner was Lily or not? To venture even further, why would she share these links on her Tumblr knowing that minors followed her and she deliberately refused to age-gate it? Oh yeah, a couple of super chats. Raccoon Fangirl for $5, thank you. Hi Lio, I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm still playing Me Tamagotchi, whatever that is. Hope you had fun. B from Met for $2. Britt be like, if it's not Lily, I pretend not to see. Yeah, because it only matters if it's Lily, right? Why don't you have minors do not interact, and it's the same thing of, I want minors to see my blog. Oh my god, kids, I found child pornography. Here, look. No. No, 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 no.
No look-see. No touchy.
The most disturbing part is that based on her description of the images, many of the drawn or 3D images in the folder are likely to have originated from real children, which a lot of LioCon does, whether people want to admit it or not. Real children who got sexually abused in real life by real predators. So this was real child predation being put on display for the public. Britt passed around children's real trauma and pain as the latest ammo against Lily and deliberately refused to report it to the authorities. The worst part is the authorities who would have actually done something about it and tracked down the account owner would never be able to because Britt's anti-Lily Orchard group decided it would be better to pass around the Tumblr instead of reporting it, which, like I said before, resulted in the accounts getting deleted soon after. They did eventually report it, but Britt was not the one who filed it. Surprise, surprise. So just know that when these people tell you it's about child safety, they're lying. They're not in it to protect victims or to help them heal. They're in it for their own egos and to feel like vigilante heroes. Yay. One moment.
Sure. Oh, I love yapping. I don't even know what to say because this is just sad. Again, anybody who clicks, I said this to Lio, I'm going to say it to you guys. Anyone who clicks on this document, there is a tab that's called, where is it? I sent it to Lio earlier. It's called Brit Post's Graphic Depiction of CP. If you have a weak stomach, or you have trauma that relates to this, do not read that. That shit is so bad that if I were to put it up on stream, it would take my stream taken down. So, do not click on it if you're not up for it. But know that it was posted to Brit's blog and Brit replied to it. So, it was put on display for all the children that follow Brit. And also, yes, look at the rest of it. It's adorable. It's so freaking cute. What if this dog is even still left?
We got about 30 pages, 33 pages of it.
Yeah, the rest of it is just Brit's engagement with minors, which arguably Easy is the worst of them, because Easy is the person that Brit's treatment brought to self-harm. The others are just kind of... They're bad, but they're not as bad, if that makes sense.
Fun. Raccoon Fangirl for $2. Can I make you into a me, Lio? I mean, I couldn't stop you if I wanted to. Alright, so... Part 3. Harming minors. Now, keep in mind, these are the people who have said that I've harmed more minors than I've helped. Now, do they know how many minors I've helped? No, of course not. But YouTuber said so, therefore, kill yourself. This loops back around to the section regarding my harassment allegations, serving as a conclusion to it. As long and arduous as it's been, the context is directly relevant to this section. So far, we've seen that Brit just views any mature minor as just a person, doesn't think that they should be protected from explicit consent, and doesn't understand that there are ways to educate them without exposing them to not safe for work content. This section shows that lack of a line extends to who she directs her aggression towards. The 15-year-old. This happened this year. During the writing of this doc, Brick found a 15-year-old girl mocking her on Tumblr and promptly posted the anon that sent her the full archive link to the kid's blood. And I'm pretty sure this is users using your government name. They're 15, and I assume a Lily fan since she's the one who originally dropped my government name. They can cry and whine about me all they want. They'll grow out of it eventually. Alright, that inherently is fine. While I don't think docking is acceptable, Brit's full name has been publicly available since she published it on her Lily logs in 2018. Brit calling attention to this is incredibly dangerous and can put the minor in question at serious risk being targeted by her audience. Given her track record, I was appalled to see it directly led to the kid being harassed. Are you a... T? What?
That's a slur. It's a slur. It's a slur for trans people, I think. That's why it's censored.
Goosebumps. 67, thank you for $2. Kids aren't allowed to be kids anymore, Lord. True. When her audience attacked, they immediately jumped to calling her slurs. Remember, this directly followed Brit attacking her publicly, so while this can be potentially argued as an assumption, the correlation is pretty blatant. Fortunately, the kid is hilarious and took it in stride. Since Brit won't say it, I will. You're pathetic. A smegma-chewing, pathetic little crap who focused on harassing a lesbian. That's, of course, assuming these aren't all just Brit.
Yeah...
Because one thing I have learned, Lily likes to send herself anonymous asks and likes to message other people anonymously. And her and Brittany are really a lot alike. So, would she use the same tactic? I think so.
It could probably comes up during the Easy section as well, because that's the section where, like, Brit is hell-bent on accusing Easy of being the person that sent stuff. But sometimes it just looks a little bit like it was actually just Brit sending herself stuff, and I'm just like,
Well, here's the thing. What audience? What audience does Brittany have? She has nothing. No one cares.
She's got like 3 people.
Here's another slur. I know for it. Whoa. You're really not understanding how to take people down, which is expected from someone who's as useful as crap-flavored lollipop still. Your balls are... Brittany, when have you taken anybody down? I think I've proven my point. To her credit, Brit did reblog the post and remotely said the right thing. I don't know why she couldn't have said something in her own words, but credit where credit's due. I don't really care what the 15-year-old is saying online, but if those rape threats and racial slurs aren't them just sitting in on hate to themselves, I think the people who are doing it need to take a step back and actually take an objective look at what they are doing. That is a child acting like a child online because they think it's cool or whatever. The threats and slurs aren't going to do what you want aside of chasing them directly towards the kind of people you want them to avoid. Also, this mossy fluorite person is some deranged animal too. I don't know who. The problem is that she's cultivated a following thinking this kind of behavior is appropriate because of how she acts. It's the example she sets for them when she's deemed someone a suitable target, so she should have learned a long time ago that when she draws troubling attention to them, she's directing that type of behavior towards them. Okay, but you're not making trans women kill themselves. You're just bringing attention to the predators in the community. What do they do after that is on them. Is it tragic someone takes their life? Of course, but you are not responsible for their actions. These people know that. They just need outsiders looking in to believe this bigotry issue so they can keep getting away with it. At this point, I genuinely wonder if some of them have managed to convince themselves that their only options are normalize sexualizing kids so I can keep doing it, or kill myself. The thought of a secret third option doesn't even enter the equation because it's not what they want. Interesting. This is the reality of having influence in a platform. It's imperative you handle this responsibility with care. This was a situation where Brit should have taken accountability for directing harassment, not waffling about it and maybe not being real anyways, and definitely not her fault. What is that they call it? The narcissist prayer? If this has established anything, is that Brit is a danger to children and should not under any circumstances be allowed in stopping predators. If you have any remaining doubts or just interested in them, be sure to check out the rest of the Lily/Brittany Skype laws. The 16-year-old reposting nudes. What?
It's not as bad as it sounds. Just to make that clear, it's just a post of somebody's naked ass. But yeah.
I'm not. Okay, so is there anything else here I actually need to cover?
So the only thing that really is like left is the easy section, because the easy section ended in somebody attempting on their life, because I can just summarize it so you don't have to read through it, but essentially Easy is a 17-year-old that was accused of sending very cruel asks to both Nicole and Britt, and it was proven that Easy could not have been the one who sent those, yet Britt still directed attention to them anyway, both in different servers and on Tumblr, which led to so much harassment that Easy ended up attempting on their life because they just couldn't handle it. And instead of being normal about it, Britt doubted that this person attempted on their life, which by the way is something she recently did again, and has still been spreading the idea that, oh, you know, this person is just lying and they totally did it and they faked everything, despite Fennec being in contact with like family members who, you know, somewhat proved that Easy was in a hospital and all that. So that's basically the only thing that's left.
These people suck.
Yeah, absolutely. I fucking hate Britt. And again, Britt has done this recently again. While I was doing my stream on this, there was another, I think it was a child as well, but I'm not sure, it doesn't specify, who had also attempted on their life as a result of Britt's harassment. And Britt went into somebody's comments and went, don't fall for this. This is just like emotional manipulation. And I'm just like, oh, sure, you know, you sure are protecting kids, especially when you tell them their suicide attempts aren't real. But okay, sure, Britt, why not?
Why do these people suck? Alright, so now I'm going to make everybody suffer. Because I'm going to go through the no-no thing, but I'm going to do it without the Google Doc in front of me, or in front of the screen. So, boop, to scene 2. I'm going to awaken hidden over here. Alright, so. Fantastic. What is this thing called?
The Britt posts graphic depiction of CP.
Remember, Britt has insisted that minors should have access to her blog, and it's important for minors to see what she's posting. When she says that it's important for minors to be able to see her posts, keep in mind that includes this post. Anyway, here's Britt explicitly describing the contents of the folder instead of handing it in to cops and letting them do it. Ta-da.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to, like...
Yeah, I'm not reading this. I am not reading. I was initially going to read this to rub into the fact that what she posted, but this is actually genuinely horrific. Why?
And remind you, this is something that she has not only like descriptive proof of, she has proof of it in screenshots. She owns a server, like not a server, a Google Drive that has these screenshots on it. And she shared that. And this is somebody who went through that folder because of her, because she shared it. Like, just to really hammer in how horrific this is.
So how comfortable are we at this point just calling Brittany a pedophile?
See, I hesitated when I did it, but the more I look at this, the worse it just gets. My thing with it is that I don't know if she's necessarily attracted to children, because she's not looking at it because she's attracted to it. She's keeping it as ammunition against Lily. I do think she's preying on the children in her fan base, though, because she keeps weaponizing them as well when she needs little soldiers to fight for her. And I think there's a deliberate choice in exposing children to terrible material and then turning around and being like, oh, you see, I'm just doing it for your own good. Like, no, you're not, Britt. You're fucking not, dude.
This is just gross and insane.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, not just like... Again, I remember most of this doc, and it's just the way that she frames herself, and this is something that really annoys me. She has been around Courtney and Lily Orchard for a really long time, and she knows that a lot of the people who follow Courtney and her are people who Lily victimized, or who Poppy and Xena victimized, and how a lot of them are either victims of CSA, or incest, or anything of the sorts. And these are the people she targets. she specifically knows these people follow her. And she's like, hey, look, do you want to see the material that once, like, fucking victimized you? Do you want to see it? Here you go. Have it. And that's what really, really kills me. It's just, how can you do that?
I think part of the problem is it's very clear to me that Brittany will sweep and defend anybody so long as she thinks it'll help with her war against Lily, regardless of the wrong they've done, while consistently projecting their own failures on other people. And it's gotten to the point to where if she wants to continue to lie about my involvement in things, I'll just publish that call and embarrass her more. And I'm fine with doing that if need be. But I'm just kind of tired of freaks like this trying their hardest to morally grandstand me while they're being actual freaks. Because you know what I don't do? I don't post pornography links around children. I certainly don't post CP links around a blog where I'm like, hey, children, come to my blog and look at what I am doing. That is absolutely deranged behavior. And the fact that anybody in this group is defending this tells me they probably touch kids. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no real excuse for that. Kill yourselves immediately.
Yeah,
and for the record, any one of you, whether it be Werewolf Hours or that other Finnick person or even Brittany themselves, you're welcome to come at me anytime you think you're big enough to. That's fine. I'd be happy to embarrass and bully you publicly again. I'm 100% okay with that. Or you can do what you did last time, Brittany, and say that you're flown too close to the sun and that you're going to hide away now.
Yeah, I sent you something. You don't have to pull it up on screen. It's just more testimony that Brit's blog is reason why people have access to this. So for anyone who doesn't know how Tumblr works, it works through text, right? So if somebody tags their post with the trigger warning, Lily Orchard Critical, if you click on that, you're going to get all the posts that are about the Lily Orchard Critical community. The problem with it is that a lot of these posts talk about really horrific things, not just Brittany, a lot of other people too. So a lot of children actually got access to horrific material and stories about rape and incest and worse, because these people would just post this. They would just openly post about it under that tag, while under the guise of like, oh guys, I'm just warning like other minors about the terrible things that Lily Orchard does. And it led, like the post I sent you, it led to people just straight up having access to like the drive, the story. I think there was a part where like parts of like Stockholm were being shared around, and it's all under the guise of, guys, we really care about children. No, you fucking don't. Fucking weirdo. If you cared about children, you would not be posting this shit the way you do. It's not about kids. Never was.
It's all about whether or not they get their get-backs for being catfish, which is horrifically embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah, it's not even like I can make the argument that Britt was quote-unquote harmed by Lily the way other people were, where it's like it would make sense to be this horrifically obsessed. It's just, I was catfished and now I want to make up for it by pretending that I really, really care. And she, again, the evidence is right there. She's harmed more kids than she helped. And she was around during the Courtney server. I just want to point that out. She was right there when Courtney was doing stuff that was showing kids bad shit. Just, you know.
You know, at this point, anybody who was an adult around Lily, when they claimed they were victimized by her, just assume they're a child predator at this point. Because this is not normal to obsess to this degree. It's not. It's also not normal to post links to what you consider child porn in an area where you want children to access it. No wonder Brittany defends Sai so much. They're essentially the same type of person.
Yeah, I mean, again, Britt is around people like I think Britt was in Malcolm's server. I think Britt was also in Say's server where they talked about this. And nobody really seems to pay attention to what Britt is actually doing, because the idea is always, oh, she's totally fighting Lily Orchard, guys. She's doing it. She's killing Lily Orchard. And everybody else has done a better job than she has. I know she appears, because I opened my stream with it. She appears in the June the King video, where she's getting interviewed. And at the end, there's a section where she just straight up admits to everything we've talked about today, because she says that she was aware of what Lily had shared on these accounts, and that it was quote-unquote hardcore content. So the whole I never looked at it is just not true. And she even admitted it in like a massive public video.
Well, there's also the fact that if you go on and you look at KP's Why I'm No Longer Friends with Lily video, almost an entire hour, the hour and 26 minutes, is just talking to Brittany. Brittany is so obsessed with being the Lily Orchard victim, being the main person in the limelight, getting all the attention, she will actively damage anybody else who has real grievances with Lily that need to be discussed. This is also why she hangs around losers like Sai and Ant and all these other freaks who focus on Lily has bad media takes instead of the fact that Lily is a pedophile and a rapist, because, you know, whether or not she likes Steven Universe is the more important factor, I suppose.
Duh, obviously. Hello. Bad media reviews, that's the stuff.
And somehow
we don't care.
And somehow me saying take it to the cops and I can't call her a predator without evidence means I'm a sweeper, but her posting pornography around children is fine?
Yes. You don't understand. It's just okay. Who cares? Oh, we should wood chipper. Lio, just put him in the wood chipper. All of them.
I'm tired and it's getting late, so I've had enough. I'm going to send everybody to commercials and I'm going to bed. I hope you all have a good night, and be sure to check out the Mecha May stuff we got going on, because more's coming. Good night.
Good night.
Don't miss the super androids that fly on wings of silver and fight with nerves of steel. The mighty Silverhawks.
Afternoons at 4.
Thundercats! Ho! Thunder excitement is flying at you this fall when the Thundercats tear into action.
Let's cut those mutants down to size.
Get ready to strike a blow for justice this fall with the mighty Thundercats.
Lupin! Lupin! That man is a notorious thief who works all over the world!
Let's go meet this treasure that's soon to be ours.
Don't say that I didn't warn you.
Jeez, Pops, can't get anything past you.
He'll steal your heart, and then he's coming for everything else. Lupin the Third, premiering next Saturday night at 2.
Take it off.
That'll be my pleasure.
Only Toonami on a...
Beast Wars Second! 最大の敵がついに目覚めた。ライオコンボイ変身！新司令官の登場だ。ガルバトロントランスフォーム！破壊大帝驚異の三段変形ライオン台風史上最大の対決に君も参加せよだからトランスフォーマービーストウォーズ
If one is born a man, at least once in his life, he will dream of becoming the strongest man alive.
Are you surprised at all? This is Orochi-style karate.
That's it, baby. Come straight for me.
Your training has paid off most impressively. I'd be happy to reward you now for all the progress you've made. He could never equal your What an adorable little playground you have here.
Rocky the Grappler.
You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, automatic cement launcher. Function, launches pre-mixed fast-drying cement at the rate of 5,000 GPM, glots per minute. Very effective at freezing monsters right in their tracks, ending transmission. You have access to secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, Jake Clausen. Occupation, garage mechanic. Alias, Razor. Real job, SWAT Cats. Designs gadgets to capture bad guys. Goal, protection of Mega Cat City. Favorite expression, bingo. Ending transmission.
Meet St. Canard's Most Wanted.
8 wanted, Starkling!
There's Megavolt, criminal circuit breaker.
It's playtime!
Quacker Jack, fiendish felon. Bushroot, experiment gone haywire.
I'm really not sinister, just misunderstood.
And diabolical evildoer Negaduck.
A rotten kind of guy!
And only one superhero can stop them.
The original, Mr. Fix-It!
Get him!
Darkwing Duck.
A new Optimus Prime is here.
I'll transform Optimus!
Power Master Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time.
It's great to be back.
Now Optimus Prime is back as a Power Master. He only transforms when his Nebulon becomes his engine.
Power Master Optimus Prime.
Look! Optimus is transforming into a super robot!
Power Master Transformers! They've got the power to surprise!
The Earth lies shattered and broken. A ruined wasteland that is now struggling to sustain life. Humanity is near the end after a devastating global meltdown. The oceans have been boiled away in nuclear fire. The land is charred and disfigured, saturated with deadly toxins. Life is a nightmarish struggle. The radiation levels have created hideous, mutated human savages. Mentally deranged, they roam in search of food and water. Gruesome violence brings terrible death to those who encounter these murderous mutants. It is an orgy of chaos, madness on a global scale. Savagery knows no limits. There are no nations, no laws, no order. In this grim reality, the forces of good and evil are once more preparing to fight for the future of mankind. Far, far away, a star shines out from the blackness of space. A beacon for the lost, a symbol of hope, an unfailing comfort to those on a journey. Known as the North Star, it has, through the ages, meant many things to many men. Under this eternal light walks the namesake of this star, a man of power and purity. A living beacon of hope, destined to bring light into the darkness. He is a feared man, spoken of in hushed tones. A legendary fighter, able to call on secret powers. Violence is met with worse violence as Ken destroys the forces of his evil half-brother. Heads roll, bodies fall, and the earth runs red as Ken draws ever nearer to Shin's stronghold in the city of the Southern Cross. The scene is set for an epic struggle between good and evil. What Shin started cannot be stopped. Many will die trying. Many will run. But there is only one Fist of the North Star.